everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and welcome to the Cinematic Wasteland here on the SPDM Crew Podcasting Network. And I'm joined by my two co-hosts, very specifically co-hosts and not guests. I listen to other people's shows. I heard this conversation. we so there you go. I didn't tell them I was going to say that. But
Nope.
joining
No, you
me
didn't.
is Luke. Luke, thank you so
Hello.
much for coming on. And Adam,
Yeah, thanks for the clarification.
there
Yeah,
you
thank
go.
you.
But I forgot I was going to say that until the moment I'm like, I'm going to drop this right now. But
Nice.
welcome to the Cinematic Wasteland, where in this case, three guys' love for film takes us through the history of cinema. And we go year by year, given a little bit of film history, now even a little bit of box office, if they have the monies available to us, which there's not a whole lot for 1926, so that will be a short segment. But then we'll talk about our film. And this particular month, we are talking about A Page of Madness. It's Avant-Garde 1926 edition. But let's get started with some film history. So in New York, Warner Brothers debuted Don Juan, the first Vitaphone sound film developed by Bell Telephone Laboratories in 1926, and the first publicly shown talkie with synchronized sound effects and orchestral music but no dialogue, starring John Barrymore. It was the first mainstream film that replaced the traditional use of a live orchestra or organ for the soundtrack, a recorded musical score of the New York Philharmonic, and successfully coordinated audio sound on a recorded disc synchronized to play in conjunction with the projected motion picture.
We are here.
We are
Yeah.
here. We have recorded film soundtracks.
Mm-hmm.
And so it began for every score junkie in the world to sit there and listen to the recorded scores. But
Season 1 starts here,
Hmm.
1926.
yeah,
Season 1 of soundtracks.
this is season one of soundtracks. You know who Foster should totally do a show like that year by
Yep.
year and just like highlight scores. Foster, if you're listening,
Yeah.
you're welcome. Enjoy that. And I won't hold you to any kind of royalties. Um, But yeah, so that's a pretty big deal as we're getting more into we have yet to reach a talkie yet, but we
Mm-hmm.
soon will have a talkie. Um Also, we have Russian director Sergei Eisenstein, classic landmark film Potemkin, uh, aka Battleship Potemkin, opened in the United States in New York in December 1926.
Mm-hmm.
That took almost like 2 years to come
I was
over to
gonna
the
say,
United
didn't we
States.
already haven't we already mentioned that? I was like, am I crazy? And yeah, okay, premiered in New York, I see.
So now it actually matters because it debuted in the United States.
Yes, before that, it doesn't matter. Just yeah. But now it's in America, it definitely matters. You know
Yep.
how little things have
Yeah.
changed since since the 1926.
Hmm.
It's like, well, now we can consider this a 1926 film because America does.
When it
And before,
counts.
not cinema. Yeah, before, not cinema. Now, cinema.
Especially because it was a dirty Russian ploy.
Soviet.
Except, are they? Do I want to go here? They're our
Yeah,
friends
why
now,
not?
right?
Oh, best
Or
best
they're at
alive.
least somebody's friend right now. But
Mm.
obviously, Potemkin, very influential, impactful film. And I just did the Wasteland Vintage Roadshow on the Untouchables, so which does have a really awesome reference to Battleship Potemkin.
Hmm.
British director Alfred Hitchcock's first completed and credited feature film, the melodramatic The Pleasure Garden, was released in the United States in 1926. Also, a 1925 film that only now matters because it got released in the United States. The silent film was made after years of Hitchcock serving as a title designer, set designer, writer, and assistant director. It wasn't released in the UK until 1927. Weird.
Okay.
So it was made in 25, came out in America in 26, and then now it counts. So now they could release it in the UK in 1927 after the success of The Lodger. The film told of the divergent life paths followed by a chorus girl, Patsy Brand, and an aspiring dancer, Carmelita Garrity.
Mm. So Hitchcock is in a
This
picture as well.
Yeah, I should check that out. I'm not seeing a
is
lot of his
this
early stuff.
is this a lesbian movie in
No,
1926?
they are good friends, Shane. No, no, they are not lesbian. They are
Oh,
very
I'm
good
sorry.
roommates.
They were just roommates
They
for
were,
40
yes,
Yeah.
years.
yes,
Yes.
just
Oh,
roommates.
confirmed
They're just
bachelorettes.
roommates. Just roommates. But yeah, so that will be one of the first films I'm going to be covering on my Welcome to the Wasteland series on Hitchcock that begins this August. So
Woo!
keep an eye out, and you'll be hearing and seeing a lot of both Luke and Adam on that series. So there you go.
Yes. Can't wait.
Alfred Hitchcock's second feature film, the 57-minute The Mountain Eagle, remains a lost film, the only one in Hitchcock's oeuvre that is missing. Good for him. So that's a good winning percentage right there.
I
Because
was gonna ask, so since he has, started in 1926, has he had any movies lost? And yeah, so there's only one. That's fucking good.
there's one is the
Wow.
loneliest number that we ever knew.
Mm,
Two could be as bad as one, but it's the loneliest number since the number one. So
so
there you
even when
go.
you do your like Hitchcock
Jesus.
thing, like you will not be 100% because there's only always the one film that's lost.
Well,
That's
here's the thing. I did John
John Ford.
Ford,
Yeah.
and he had like 60 lost films. So
Hmm.
like I didn't complain about that because I did not need another year plus.
I was gonna say,
John
but
Ford.
imagine had they not been lost, you would still be doing John Ford.
Luke, I don't want to imagine. So all that remains are a collection of dozens of production stills from Hitchcock's own archives. It was released in the US as Fear O' God, the melodrama filmed in Austrian Tyrol, a stand-in for Kentucky.
Of course.
You cannot see it, but I made a weird face when it said Austrian in
Yeah.
stand-in for Kentucky, starring Nita Naldi, supposedly the new Theta Barra, but the actress never survived the transition to the sound talkies. Its
Mm.
tale about a love quadrangle between Kentucky mountain town shopkeeper Mr. Pettigrew, a female teacher, Pettigrew's mentally ill son Edward, and a hermit with an unlikely name of John Fear God Fulton.
Okay, what was the word again? Quadrangle? What?
Quadrangle.
Is that an
It's
official
not a
term?
love triangle,
Yeah,
Luke. It's
yeah.
a love quadrangle.
I would just say a square, but okay. I'm not that smart, so I would just say a square. Love square.
I love Square.
Because because we have a love triangle, right?
It's a love
Well,
quadrangle.
what if there's five? Is it
It
a
rhymes.
Five would
Love
be
triangle,
pentagon.
love quadrangle.
yeah? Five tango?
There
Love
was definitely
tango?
some dangling probably going on
There's definitely
in
some dangling there, yeah. Mm-hmm.
now, the early death of 31-year-old silent screen star and idol Rudolph Valentino, dubbed the Latin Lover, noted for 14 films, including The Sheik and the sequel, The Son of the Sheik, and The Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, in a short 7-year career, caused a frenzy among his fans during his New York City funeral, attended by over 100,000 people. He died following surgery for ruptured appendix and gastric ulcers due to peritonitis.
Hmm.
Mm.
Oh my.
Hmm. To
We
worry.
don't love that. First
Nope.
appendix. Jeez. And so young. He's
How old
younger
was he,
than
did you say?
31.
Oh,
It's
Yeah.
younger
wow.
than me.
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
Yep. Younger than me too.
He's younger than all of us.
Yeah.
Mm.
That just hits a little different.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm.
but uninhibited silent film starlet Clara Bow, known for her sexual exploits, signed a contract with Paramount Studios but refused to sign the customary morality clause. She was offered a contingent $500,000 annual bonus by Paramount, provided that she kept herself free of scandal during its tenure. She failed to collect with numerous affairs, off screen romances, and highly publicized scandals. You go, girl.
I was gonna. So first of all, obviously you go, girl. But second, imagine
Roaring
like
20s.
the studio paying you $500,000 at that time. Be like, just be on your best behavior, and you get $500,000. And she's like, no thanks.
They call that the Lindsay Lohan clause now, don't they?
It's just like, I'll do my best.
Mm.
And her
Day
best was
two,
not good enough.
day
So
two failed. Oh well, I
Yeah.
tried.
Yeah.
she has one of those little signs. It's like days without affairs or scandals.
Oh yeah,
She's a good time gal, isn't that what they used to call them?
Hey,
yeah. Here for a good time, not a long time.
Mm.
good time, $500,000.
In
So
1926, holy
yeah.
shit.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Um,
Yeah.
I hope she really had a good time.
Geez, there must have been a lot of money in the movies back then. Like to offer someone half a meal just to behave themselves.
Well, she was one of the first like a proper big stars.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
movie
Yeah.
movie Babylon, Margot Robbie's character
Mm.
is predominantly based on her. There's like
Yeah.
some other like influences from another actresses of that era, but
Hmm.
predominantly that's her. Like the chain where she opens a chain of like restaurants in her name, that was Clara Bowes as well, from what I've read
Right.
about that. So like she was massive at the time.
Yeah. But that's probably what her reputation and scandal was probably what made them the money because people went to see it because she was in the news. So yeah, that's they should have given her money
Mhm.
Yeah.
for her lifestyle.
We will give you $10,000 for every affair or scandal that you have, bringing
I'm on
Yeah.
it.
publicity to our movies.
Yeah.
And she's like, challenge accepted.
She's like, say
Uh,
less.
20 grand per abortion. Something. Mm. Sorry, that's probably crossing the line. I
Yeah.
don't know.
The oldest surviving feature-length animated film with silhouette animation techniques and color tinting, The Adventures of Prince Ahmed, released in Germany in 1926. This is such an amazing film.
Is
If
it?
you get a
Right.
chance to check it out, it is so impressive what they were able to do with just silhouette cutouts and
Mhm.
backlighting and tinting.
Okay.
Okay. Putting it on my list.
It's fantastical and wondrous. So there you go.
Mhm.
It's
It's
basically a
ugly.
whole bunch of like little fables and stuff like that, and like mythology thrown in together. Very fantastical.
Okay.
Next up we have director Robert J. Flaherty's Moana. Make waves, make waves.
Mm.
Um, was released a Paramount Studio finance follow-up sequel of sorts after his earlier landmark film Nanook of the North about Eskimo life. The review of South Seas film by moviegoer John Grierson in the New York Sun was the first time the term documentary was used to describe a film, being a
Okay.
visual account of events in the daily life of a Polynesian youth has documentary value. In actuality, it is cinema's first docu-fiction film reconstructing to the traditional life of islanders in Samoa in its semi-fictional tale.
Ah.
Interesting.
Was it starring the Pebble?
It's the boulder.
It's
I'm
the
full
ball.
of bad dad jokes.
I was gonna say you would it be like the boulder first before the
The boulder
because
feels conflicted.
The boulder's bigger than the rock, though, right?
no, yeah, but like like a rock has a pebble, boulder has a rock.
Uh,
Like in a hierarchy that would have
we're
been
going in
his
reverse.
granddad.
I was imagining he was growing up.
How
Ah, I
many
see.
more? How many other
A
synonyms for
stone,
rocks can we
pebble,
think?
stone.
It's the
Mountain.
stone.
Yeah.
Mountain is
The
full of
stone.
rocks. Mountain
Stone
is one big
cold.
rock.
Well, maybe
He
stay
is the
Boston instead.
mountain.
Hmm.
There you go. But no, so Interesting. So this was a docu-fiction about a young Polynesian woman. There you go. And now we have documentaries.
Oh.
Now, Flesh and the Devil, released late in the year, marked the start of the famous on and off screen romance of Greta Garbo and John Gilbert during Hollywood's golden age. It was Garbo's third American silent film. I thought I was going to say this was Garbo's third husband, but that was not what the line was. Her third silent film following The Torrent and The Temptress, and the first of 6 films she made for preferred director Clarence Brown. The film had 3 extended love scenes and was reportedly the first Hollywood film with an open mouthed French kiss between the two stars, who were obviously in love in real life. It also featured the first ever horizontal position kisses in American film. Saucy. Um,
Horizontal. I had no
I
other
was gonna
adjectives.
say. Okay.
Yeah.
to interpret for like normal people, they were laying down while kissing.
So not only French kissing, but horizontal? Holy like breaking not just one barrier, but two?
Did
Brave.
they do the horizontal tango? This was the
That'd be too
first of
brave.
4 films Garbo made with lover John Gilbert, 2 of which were directed by Brown, Flesh and the Devil and A Woman of Affairs, and 2 by other directors, Edmund Golding, who directed Love, and Ruben Momlian, who directed Queen Christina. So things are getting saucy up in here in 1926. And yeah, this was definitely before like code and everything. So
100%.
you
Mm.
100% know those horizontal kisses wound up in that montage at the end of Cinema Paradiso.
Yeah.
So which
Cinema.
hmm,
Did you say cinema?
that's how Italians say it, Adam.
Ah,
You
okay.
should have learned your lesson from 9 hours ago when you were hanging out with 3 Italian people.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. I was not paying attention. Cinema, I did not know that. Yeah, that makes sense. Absolutely
Hmm.
makes sense. Like Bichemi.
Look at me. I took Italian for 2 semesters in college.
Uh,
Because I did. Because the Italian I learned from my grandfather, whose parents were actually Italian, was all fake because he made that stuff up. Because my grandfather was a ham and also a character. So there you go. But we only have a few more here. Future star John Wayne, a former prop man, made his debut feature film appearance as an uncredited football player on the Yale team in the college comedy drama Brown of Harvard. So yeah, now we got John
John
Wayne.
Wayne. Mm.
I wonder if we'll wind up doing a John Wayne movie. We'll have to see. Um, Actor, producer, star Douglas Fairbanks' ultimate pirate film, The Black Pirate, was historically significant. The adventure Swashbuckler was the first feature length blockbuster color film. The 2 color process was first introduced in The Toll of the Sea and in sequences in Ben Hur, A Tale of the Christ. It boasted the use of early experimental Technicolor process, although it was also filmed in black and white.
Wow, okay.
I
Oh.
guess I I just think it's kind of funny that a film called The Black Pirate was so famous for having color.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, there's like some sort of irony there.
hmm.
But there's some swashbuckling adventuring there that we don't get anymore. So there you
Yep.
go. But our last one, a newer and better recording system for putting synchronized sound on film called Movie Tone was developed by Theodore W. Case and Earl I. Sponable for William Fox of the Fox Film Corporation. In this system, the soundtrack was placed on the actual film next to the picture frames rather than on a separate synchronized disc as in the Vitaphone system. So, a lot
Oh.
of experimenting with sound systems at this point in cinema, as we can see.
Mm-hmm.
But that is a little bit of film history for all of you out there listening. We will get to the Oscars next episode because at least all the films would have come out for it, because for some reason they used to do like school uh uh based off of like school timeline where it's like midsummer to midsummer.
Ah, yeah.
Um they're on the July to June fiscal calendar
Ah.
for the first like two Oscars. But we do have a very, very limited box office. So 1925 made bank. Apparently, this did not.
Hmm.
The highest grossing film I could find was Aloma of the Southern Seas that made $3 million,
Yeah, peanuts.
which is like a shadow of the 20 something or other. Actually, no. What am I saying? I have it on the same Google Doc here. But the Big Parade made $22 million. So that's a big drop off.
That's a
So
big drop. Wow.
either they just didn't have information, or people were like, screw 1926, we're not going to the movies.
Yep.
It's kind of feeling like 2025, screw you, we're not
Yeah.
going to the movies.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because the two movies that really should have made a crap ton of money, a Captain America movie and a Snow White movie, obviously did not.
Mm-hmm.
So
There's other reasons probably behind that, but yeah,
uh, there's a
And
lot
a
of
lot of
reasons.
politics.
And also I think the biggest thing is, I'm gonna quote a Disney movie, Holes. Tired of this, Grandpa? That's too damn bad. So that little girl is all of us, and the old cranky grandpa is Disney. And just like, you're gonna keep getting these Marvel movies and live action Disney remakes, and you're gonna like it.
mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Except now the box office is showing no, people aren't gonna like it.
The
I
computer
thought
says no.
I think it is crazy that presently Dogman is the number 3 domestic grossing film in the United States.
Is that an animated movie?
Yeah, from the
Yeah.
writer,
Yeah,
the creator of Captain Underpants.
Mm.
it's supposed to be pretty
And
good.
yeah, I actually really enjoyed Dogman.
Hmm.
And also, it's
See,
kids RoboCop.
see, the
So,
quality rises to the top. I'm just saying.
so there you go. But I guess they're gonna. I'm even trying to think of what the hell movie's gonna make a bunch of money at this point. We're gonna see how much money those 10-year-olds make Warner Brothers for Minecraft.
Oh, Minecraft's gonna be huge,
Yeah,
I think.
I said that today too. I think it will, because there's a lot of even for the older crowd, there's a lot of nostalgia for the teens and early adults who were playing it 10, 12 years ago or more. So, I'll go
Like my
see it.
sister has two boys, like 8 and 5, and both love Minecraft, and I cannot,
Mm.
like, genuinely cannot wait to see that movie. When they saw the trailer
Mm.
before, like, some other movie, they were like, "Oh, Uncle, I'm gonna be see we saw the Minecraft trailer. It's gonna be so good." And I'm like,
Mm.
"Yeah,
Yeah,
this
yeah. If
this
and
movie."
if Minecraft does really well, the next one off the cab off the rank will be Roblox. There'll be a Roblox movie after that.
Hasn't it been greenlit already?
Has it?
I,
Possibly. I don't know.
hmm,
But it would make sense because that company is worth, billions. It's massive.
yep.
Right. Well, they're gonna print that money. We'll see
Mm.
how Minecraft does. But
Yep.
we're here to talk about real avant-garde cinema.
Real cinema.
Cinema.
No,
Cinema.
sorry, cinema.
You know what?
Cinema.
We got A Page of Madness. A man takes a job at an asylum with hopes of freeing his imprisoned wife. And this is from director Tainosuke Kainogasa. And this film, um, oh yeah. So obviously this came out in 1926. This is about what, 70-minute film, and
Mhm.
it's wild. But let's get our general thoughts. Luke, what were
Yeah.
your general thoughts on A Page of Madness?
My general thoughts are, it's a wild movie. So, like, I didn't know what was happening for a majority of the time. I'm not gonna
But
pretend.
you loved it.
I did actually kind of like it. Like, I'm just gonna say, I don't know if I'm sure, like, full on loved it, but I really enjoyed myself because, like, I feel like there's the way it's shot, not even for that time, but, like, especially for that time, and the need that it doesn't really want to hold your hand. It's yet again the contrast between East and West cinema. Like, now it's still so different. Like if you watch a movie from Korea or Japan or even China, but mainly Japan really is the one that's like very quirky, and it just goes to show. Oh, it's not just lately. No, it's always been there. It's always like, no, we're not gonna show you much. It's it's up to you. Go on this wild ride and try to enjoy yourself. If not, fuck you. And I kind of like that.
How about you, Adam? What were your general thoughts on A Page of Madness?
Um, yeah, as usual, I'm kind of the same as Luke, to be honest. It's I had no clue what was happening, but I was just enjoying it for the technical prowess. For 1926, there was this film was very different to the other films we've been watching from a technical standpoint. There was a lot of I get frame merging. There was a lot of
Hmm.
the camera movements were really prolific. They were really detailed and were telling a story because it's completely silent. There's not even title cards in this, so there's no storytelling
Hmm.
there's no hand holding. You've really got to pay attention. And just like Luke, had no fucking idea what was going on. I had to after like kind of near the end of it, I started reading it like what's happening here, and
Hmm.
then I kind of started enjoying it more, reading the plot. I don't know whoever wrote that plot is a genius because they pulled out some good stuff from there. Because I had no idea because I don't know about you guys, but the picture quality isn't awesome. So it was hard to define which characters were which. And me
Hmm.
being maybe slightly ADD, not always looking at the screen, but
Hmm.
looking at it more than normal.
Hmm.
Yeah, and look, it's just impressive to watch from. And I know the score was dubbed in later, but the score was great because the
Yeah.
score is everything in this film because it keeps you engaged in
Mhm.
watching it. It was I'd like to know what it was like without a score because it would have been a hard watch, honestly, without
Hmm.
something going on.
Hmm.
My first note was music goes hard, all
Yeah,
in
yeah.
caps. Because I'm just
Mm.
sitting there, I'm like, my God, this is like that meme, the flaming piano on the beach.
Oh yeah.
Um, they're like,
Yeah.
we have this 1926 avant-garde film from Japan that we really need to, liven it up. But you don't have to go too hard. They
Mm.
went hard.
They
It's
went
like the
So
super hard.
DuckTales. It's like the DuckTales theme song. It's like it's just a children's kids show. It's just a
yeah.
kids animated show, and they just brought out one of the best songs ever made.
Hey Phil Collins, this is Disney. We need you
Yeah,
to make us. We
yeah,
need you to make music for this movie about
yeah,
apes. Um,
yeah.
yep.
Elton
Or
John, do one
So
for lions. Yeah.
yeah, or John Williams for Home Alone. This is just a Christmas movie, John. You don't have to go super hard. And John
Yeah.
Williams is like, no, hold my fucking instruments.
hold my
Yeah.
Oscars.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just sit them down. But no, the music in this was they did a really great job
Yep.
of
Yep.
Yeah.
picking great music for this. They're so narratively, at the end of the day, this is a very harrowing story with a lot of emotion to it. And I feel like if you could really cue into the use of close-ups and
Hmm.
those intense stares,
Mm.
you can feel the emotion. Because
Yeah.
like obviously there's a lot of weight to this story of this man who's desperately trying to get his wife out of this asylum.
Hmm.
And
Mm.
then like this movie makes you wonder, it's like, should she be?
Hmm.
Um,
Mm.
and
Mm.
but like there's obviously a lot of emotion there. Like this isn't like the most complex plot. If it were, then this wouldn't work because the filmmaking's too complex for you to be able to figure anything out. Um, so there's a lot of emotion there, and this is such a visceral and very artful experience because
Yep.
from like the opening sequence, you're just like, whoa, what is going on here? I don't know what is going on here, but I know how it's making me feel, and it's making me feel anxious.
Mm.
Because it's just like
Yeah.
there's so much going on here, and at the end of the day, this is about an asylum and people trapped in an asylum. So the director, uh, Kinugasa, is doing a great job of channeling that and
Hmm.
putting that back on the audience.
Yeah,
It's
like
just
it's
Mm.
like,
you cannot really distinguish what is a dream, because there are some like dreams There is like, what
Yes.
is reality? The dancing girl, like, every time she dances, and there is like the reaction from the men, like it's uncomfortable, but it's also like kind of like the way she dances is beautiful. Like, but she also like hurts her feet, and I'm like, what does that mean? Like, is she there because she cannot stop herself dancing? Why is she there? I want to know, but I kind of like that I don't know. I love the
Mm.
shadow play. Like, there's a couple of scenes, couple of frames where the shadow is like, it projects this almost like haunting, like a monster, like quality to those, like, reflections. And I felt like this must be intentional. That must be so intentional. I just wish I was smarter to crack it. That's just like, I feel like on a rewatch, this movie would probably just, get up there even more. I think the movie, if you were to rewatch it, knowing what you know, like, what is it about, where it's
Mm.
going,
Mm.
I honestly feel like it would get better and better.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I also want to kind of highlight the acting in this. I think the acting is really impressive. Especially from his wife, who I didn't know his wife until I read the Wikipedia. I don't know honestly
Yep.
what's happening, but it was just, yeah, it was eyes glued to the screen. But just, yeah, when she had those moments of lunacy, I would
Mhm.
say, because there was moments where she was kind of, I guess, lucid, and then she kind of flipped out. I don't know. It was just really impressive, and the main guy, the janitor slash husband, he was, I don't know, it was just really impressive for compared to all the Western movies we have been watching in this series. Like, this was a nice little departure to see. Maybe a lot of this, they were probably doing it better at that time in well, other countries.
hmm I wouldn't even say better, but I would just say different. Like, again, like, as we are kind of saying, all of us, like the movies from this era, like what we watching, it's like they show you something and there is a title. It's like, yeah, just to make
Mm,
sure you understand what's happening. There's also the title about what is happening, right now. Whereas
yeah,
this movie has no title cards, has no, like,
no,
this is his wife. This is, oh, this man just, this, if this
n-
was an American movie, there would have been a title card. The man
yeah,
suffers because he lost his
character
wife in this
names and
asylum, and
yeah,
it's just like now he hired himself as a janitor, and now he tries to, and now he suffers because he cannot, he questions whether she's actually mental or not, and it's just like,
mm.
no, the Japanese like, no, you figure it out. No, 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 we don't need the title cards of what? What the fuck?
Mhm.
They treated their audience with a bit of intelligence.
Hmm
Which is very interesting because you know what three countries were going hard in cinema at this time?
Germany, Japan, and
In
US, right?
Italy.
Oh, in
And
Italy.
Russia,
Oh,
no,
yeah, yeah.
Well, I guess
Oh,
because like
Russia
Russia,
too.
maybe.
many
Um,
Russians, like, are heavily influential on the, like, early cinema.
well,
Mm,
and like especially Germany at
Hmm
this point because the likes of Fritz Lang and
Yep.
because
yeah.
like I'm
Marnau.
trying to
There's
think,
more now, yeah.
yeah, I'm trying to think of a film that I felt like was so dynamic as this from this era, and I'm thinking Metropolis. Like
Oh
Hmm.
yeah.
obviously Metropolis is much bigger in scale, but like even you talking about like the dancing sequence and the men and their reactions, it just made me think of the
Yep.
whole like robot lady dance from Metropolis, and all the men are like
And we might
acting
want to
like
watch it soon. We might, we might talk about it soon. Metropolis.
we could
hmm
potentially.
hmm
But I'm just looking at some of the
It's like 7 hours
stills.
long, isn't it?
It's like 220.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
no,
it's like,
I'm more than happy to watch that. Actually, I watched it as a young kid with my dad. Yeah,
I would like to
But
rewatch it.
but there's
mm,
like this dark, eerie hallways and the lighting. The
Yep.
lighting in this is just
mm,
pitch
it's
perfect.
fantastic.
There's
Yeah,
so many moments of the bars of cells just like casting on
hmm
characters, and obviously that's done on purpose. It's like it's almost like we're trapped in here. Um, and then there's this whole entire like brawl sequence. That one, that stunt work is really well done. Two,
hmm
that camera moving through and back through that hallway is really impressive. And there's just so many moments like the camera distortion and the camera angles. This is just like I just feel like this is a bit on a different level
Yeah.
than so many movies
Yeah.
at this point. And like even now, we're lucky if we get movies that are this dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and people give people money to make films that are this dynamic. But like this film, I think has, to your point, Adam, fantastic acting. And
Mm.
it's the close-ups, it's the intimate shots that we're able to see. Like, there's a couple of frames I'm looking at here that are just like the janitor, the husband character, and even like the light circle on like the
Mm-hmm.
dark silhouette of the wall, or him looking right at the camera. You just feel so much
Mm-hmm.
emotion out of him. And there's just so many eerie and unnerving visuals and camera distortions and mask choices in this that like even based off of like the poster of the movie, it's just like this sets the tone. This is going to be an unnerving and strange experience, and it certainly is from start to finish.
See, like when you're talking about money and lightning, like you're setting me up because I was gonna mention a couple of IMDb trivias because this is fascinating because you're talking about money, lighting. So money, this was so underfunded. This movie was so underfunded that even his stars, some of them rather big names at the time, had to assist in painting the sets as well
Oh,
as
right.
making the props and pushing them lighting. So Kinugasa, the director, had only 8 small lights to work with. So he arranged the walls of his small studios to be painted in a silver color in order to make the reflection additional, like illumination. Also, this movie was considered lost for almost 40 years until the director, found the movie in a rice cans in 1971. And I'm like, okay, and yeah, it was shot in 1 month. And it was kind of rather long for that time. But yeah, in May 1926, this movie was shot. But yeah, it was heavily underfunded, and apparently, based on the trivia, even the distributors at the time didn't know what to do with it because it wasn't Japanese enough, or not enough. It wasn't your stereotypical Japanese movies at that time, apparently. So there used to be two sets of theaters. The ones they were shown mostly like domestic movies in Japan, and ones they were shown mostly foreign movies. And this movie played in the foreign movie theaters because apparently they didn't know what to do with it, so they just put it like, you know what, that makes sense, even though it was Japanese movie. So I was like, damn.
They're like, "You're not one of us. Get out of here."
It's like the Kurosawa, curse yet again. Just making great movies, but too American for a Japanese.
Mhm. It's like, hey, we'll
Oh,
appreciate
wow.
your avant-garde cinema if you don't want to
Yep.
take ownership of it. But I guess, do either of you have anything else to add about A Page of Madness?
I don't. I think I've said more than enough.
I just want to add again, like it's a great movie. I think like if you have the time, I think on a rewatch it would be even better. And I kind of wish Criterion or something like that would restore it properly. And like, if this was available on a Blu-ray, I would actually be very keen on buying it, like nicely restored with that music that goes a bit too hard, but it's excellent. And I think this should be seen much more from this era.
Yeah.
This
Yep.
has Kino Lorber written all over it.
Mm-hmm,
Uh,
mm-hmm.
Okay.
that's what I have my Metropolis remastered and
Mm.
restored Blu-ray from
Nice.
Kino Lorber. So, but we said our piece,
Mm-hmm,
and in our madness. So there you go. Enjoy. You obviously keep coming back, so you enjoy a little bit of our madness, right? We have fun here. But yes, those are our thoughts on A Page of Madness. And next month, we're going to be talking about The Cat and the Canary here for 1927. And we will be soon to dive into talking about the Oscars and, why they always got them wrong, even from the beginning. But, that would mean we'd have to watch all the movies from back then.
mm-hmm.
But we shall see. But Luke and Adam, thank you both so much as always for coming on and talking movies with me.
Always a
Always a
blast.
pleasure.
And thank all of you for listening. Make sure to like, comment, and share on this episode. What's your favorite avant garde film that you can think of? And what's some of your favorite Japanese cinema? Make sure to follow or subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast. The SPM Crew Podcasting Network is ever growing. It's almost to the point where I don't think I could listen to all these podcasts every week. Um, but there's so many great shows from about movies and television, sports and physical media, and just talking about life, quiz shows and Tolkien on tap, and so many other things. We're very robust now, so enjoy all the content. And if you want to join and make your own podcasts, like Foster, remember Foster, just give me credit. I won't take any money from you. Or if you want to join as a guest on any of our shows, make sure to reach out. And if you like our logo, check out High Flyer Creative for all your digital marketing needs. But this one in particular is from my buddy Joe. So you should check out his work and his Etsy store. If you like fun, quirky, cartoony sports t-shirts and stuff like that, he has a lot of fun making them. But most importantly, thank you as always for tuning in and supporting the Cinematic Wasteland here on the SPM Crew Podcasting Network.